Today, a little bit of a fun change of pace. Let's unbox together some Filippo Sorcinelli. Hello, welcome back to Seldomly Often. I'm Daniel, today we're talking fragrances, and this is an unboxing and first impression of Filippo Sorcinelli's Unda Maris 8, plus a special mysterious limited edition. Filippo Sorcinelli is one of those Italian uber niche brands that really has my interest peaked. Since I smelled them for the first time in a 2-part speed dating episode, I was hooked. I bought a couple fragrances, they're all very cool. I just like everything about the brand. I like the concept, I like the artistry, I like the theming. Everything is so full of character, so bold in presentation, and so edgy in the best way possible. Filippo Sorcinelli, the guy himself, seems to be an incredibly peculiar individual with a very bold personality and a super interesting background. I've watched a lot of his interviews, and from what he says, from how he says it, it seems that he's really pouring his heart and soul into all of his products, from the clothing to the fragrances. I really applaud this approach, and I'm a huge fan of a style which is based on personality and personal background. And believe me, it really shines throughout the products. Filippo Sorcinelli's background, as I said before, is also incredibly interesting. He basically started out in Rome with an atelier next to the Vatican, selling clothing to the Catholic Church. Everyone from priests, cardinals, and even the Pope was buying his clothing. Really interesting, especially considering that if you look at the guy, you're like, is this guy religious? Is this guy tied into religion? He looks so weird and edgy. I just find it so very curious that a guy that presents in such a way, look up a picture to know what I'm talking about, and that produces fragrances which are very edgy in concept, almost Gualtieri style, many of which are actually sexually charged, is tied to the Catholic religion, tied to the church, and tied to the Vatican. I find it so insanely fascinating. To top it off, Filippo Sorcinelli is also an avid organ player. He features concerts throughout Italy and even in the world. And today's fragrance is also about the organ. Today we're going to be unboxing Unda Maris 8 and a special fragrance which is limited edition. I've been eyeballing Unda Maris 8 for quite some time now. On paper at least, it appears to be one of my ideal scent profiles. Marine notes, incense, everything wrapped into the exuberant style of Filippo Sorcinelli. And I decided to finally pull the trigger, specifically ordering from Filippo Sorcinelli directly because he had a promo running. With every purchase, he would be including a special edition fragrance, a 50 ml extrait de parfum, for free. This one here called Pincett. And the thing that got me curious is that this Pincett limited edition fragrance, limited to only 500 pieces, apparently is inspired by childhood in Italy in the late 80s and 90s. I'm very curious. Filippo Sorcinelli, I think, is more or less my age. I think that we're both above 40, so this could be exceptionally evocative. Again, I know nothing about Pincett. I have no idea what it smells like. I don't even know what the name means. It doesn't really mean anything in Italian. It might be slang for something specific. Anyway, let's get into the unboxing. I also decided to buy from Filippo Sorcinelli direct because, in a similar way to Gualtieri, the unboxing might be more fun than expected. And by the way, this one here is my first official Filippo Sorcinelli purchase from the brand itself. I own a couple other fragrances. One I bought at a retailer and one I bought secondhand. I'll showcase them later. Let's open up the box. And inside we have some paperwork, some wrappers, and yes, we have this. We'll get to this in a sec though. First, let's unbox Unda Maris. All right, nothing else in the box. I was kind of hoping for some samples or goodies, but it's okay. Let's get right to the fragrance. Beautiful wrapping, and Filippo Sorcinelli's packaging is always absolutely amazing. This one here is the top actually. Let's try to crack the thing open. Beautiful packaging. Yes, I really like Filippo Sorcinelli stuff. You have this wooden box, a box within a box. Really cool. And when you open the cap up, which is, by the way, magnetic, it appears. Weird, the fragrance is put upside down. We have the fragrance itself, Unda Maris 8. And this, I think, is a new packaging for this series. And by the way, the series is inspired by the organ. Unda Maris 8 is actually a stop of the organ to produce a specific sound which is undulating like a wave of the sea. and the name Unda Maris actually means wave of the sea. And when I say that I think that the packaging has been modernized, it's because I also have Contre Bombard 32 from the same line. I'm not necessarily sure if this is actually the old packaging or if this fragrance was always meant to look like this, but I bought this secondhand on my local marketplace, and this is an absolute beast of a spicy vanilla scent. It's really, really gorgeous. I'll eventually get around to reviewing this. Anyway, back to Unda Maris. As I said, this is inspired by the instrument of the organ and also by the movement of the waves of the sea. And apparently Filippo Sorcinelli, with the help of his perfumer, really managed to combine these two factors into one fragrance, creating something spiritual and outwardly, but also salty and evocative of the sea. I'm so curious. I'm very excited. I love this scent profile, and I already have fragrances which are along the lines of this, at least on paper. I have Aide Este Venusta Scopal Azur, which is beautiful, dry incense with a little bit of salty edginess. I also have Amouage Lineage, which is basically a pastel watercolor painting of frankincense and slow moving waves. And in the past, I also own Zoology Squid, which is kind of based on the same idea, a deep underwater temple. I'm afraid to say I don't have that fragrance anymore. That is one of my regrets. I traded it off and I shouldn't have. Now I'm collecting zoologists, and that one there is a giant hole in my catalog. And I specifically said that Filippo Sorcinelli worked with his perfumer to create this and all of his other fragrances for that matter. For those not in the know, Filippo Sorcinelli is not a perfumer. He's not a nose. He doesn't work with ingredients or raw materials. He employs a perfumer, the same guy throughout his career, Carlo Ribeiro, and they both work together to create these beautiful fragrances. Filippo Sorcinelli is first and foremost a creative director. He's an artist. He comes up with the stories, he comes up with the ideas, and the perfumer translates those ideas into product. And this, to me, this fact takes absolutely nothing away from Filippo Sorcinelli. If anything, it just augments my appreciation for the guy, because he really understands that a technical person is different from a creative person, and they both need to work together to bring out the best possible product. I really like this approach. But enough with the chatter. We did the unboxing. We looked at the beautiful wooden box, which is magnetized. This feels insanely good. It feels really premium, more than pretty much any other brand on the market. It's incredibly unique. We looked at the bottle. I really like the design. This one here is a 50 ml. The cap, I think, is plastic. It's reminiscent of the organ stop. It's really interesting. The bottle itself is fairly bare bones, but let's give it a spray on strip and see what this is all about. Nice sprayer. Yes, this is exactly what I was hoping for. So in typical Filippo Sorcinelli style, this is much more dirty than I thought it would be. I was kind of scared it would be a very mild incense marine thing. Again, I have a few of them and I really didn't want redundancy, but I'm happy to report off the bat, this is very particular. The incense in here is churchy and dark. It's dense, it's beautiful, it's so rich and woody. It smells like nothing else. It doesn't smell like frankincense at all. It just smells like woody, crispy charcoal incense. It's super cool. And the distinct dirtiness comes from a weird pissy note that I've smelled a lot in Filippo Sorcinelli fragrances, specifically But Not Today, which I really want and I'll be purchasing real soon. This one here has a similar sort of vibe. It's a very pissy incense. It almost reminds me of, I know it sounds absolutely disgusting, but it reminds me of the smell at a train station, like a train station in a big city where people are pissing in the corners. And again, it sounds absolutely horrible, but if you take that concept and you make it into a fragrance, taking a very small portion of that smell to add a little bit of edginess, you kind of get something like this. So this is incense with a bit of that, and then there's a distinct salty note, which is very apparent. This is so cool. I love Filippo Sorcinelli for this stuff. It's such a unique brand. There's nothing else on the market like it. And he has such a specific style. It really puts a smile to my face because I love it when a brand has such a character. They're not copying anything else. They go their own route. It's so cool. I applaud this stuff so much, even though it's not necessarily super wearable. Yeah, scrap the paper. I'm going directly on skin. This is awesome. I'll be wearing this as my scent of the day on one arm, and I'll be spraying Pincett on my other arm. Wow, on skin, completely different. It's super surprising. That very prominent pissy note, which was coming through on paper, is almost completely gone. It's being replaced by a very pungent, very detectable menthol/cucumber note. It's green, it's refreshing, it's watery. It's really conveying the idea of wetness. There's also some sort of citrus, which is not necessarily juicy or sweet. It's just bitter and rindy, adding to this greenness, adding the effervescence to the scent. It has a weird bubbliness to it. It's a very weird smell to describe. It's almost more of a sensation. It feels like you're drinking a carbonated beverage and the liquid is kind of like fizzing into your nose. Super particular. Nothing in my repertoire smells like this. I'm very, very happy. This is really cool. Wow. It's cool, it's not sweet at all. Actually, the incense is very, very dark on my skin. It basically serves as a background to the scent. It's not front and center. It's not like Cobalt Azur, this white incense smoke. This one here is dark. It's almost black and it just fills in the void left by the menthol, by this weird cucumber note, and by these weird bitter citruses. It's very, very interesting. I really like Filippo Sorcinelli's approach. Again, it's incredibly unique. If you have not smelled anything from the brand, do yourself a favor, get yourself a discovery set. It's really eye-opening. I just like these niche houses that have their identity so solidly planted into rock, like really hammered to the core. Filippo Sorcinelli is definitely one of those houses. This is really, really cool. Wow. I really like this. This is amazing. Yeah, I really like this. It's definitely weird. This will need some time to sink in. I really need to do some research because I really want to understand his point of view. I might have to watch a couple more interviews, specifically where he talks about Unda Maris. Really, really cool. Again, not redundant in my collection. But now let's move on to Pincett because that will be super fun. So Pincett, one of the things that I knew about the fragrance, mainly by following Filippo Sorcinelli on Instagram, was that this fragrance would be delivered with a very 90s hit bag to really underline the period of inspiration for this fragrance itself. Let's give it a crack and let's see what it's all about. I think I might have to cut the thing open. Yeah, so here we have it, a very, very 90s hip bag. This is the kind of stuff that I would go on school trips as a kid. It's really cool. Again, it's not premium or anything, it's incredibly cheap. It's more of a prop. It's more of a prop to serve the idea of the fragrance itself, but I still think it's amazing. I really like it. All right, let's get to this. Let's open this thing up. On the back pocket, we have nothing. And I'm assuming the fragrance is then in the front pocket. And here we have it, Pincett, with a hilariously ugly sticker. Again, inspired by the late 80s and early 90s. This one here is bottle 246 of 500. If this fragrance proves anything decent, I might even place another order on the Filippo Sorcinelli website just because I want more fragrances and I could get myself a backup of this. Well, who knows? Let's set this aside for now. In here, we also have some other goodies. This one here is a keychain, so 90s. My God, everything about it, even the wrapper. Its cheapness feels like something straight out of the late 80s and 90s. Even the color scheme is so iconic. This pink and blue is very, very specific. Wow, I feel old. Also, we have a sticker, again, very 90s inspired. Then we have another sticker. This one here is even more 90s inspired because it's one of those ones that are kind of embossed. They have a little bit of a thickness to them. They're like a gel sticker. Cool. And then we have, oh my God, we have a pen. I used to carry these to school every day. So cool, with some multiple colors, the blue, the green, black, and red. So cool, wow. This is definitely inspired by those times. I really hope that it has a lot of childish vibes because I do like fragrances like that. I already own Summer of 84 by Kerosene and Isola by Meo Fuscioni. Those two fragrances really bring me to my childhood. They fill me with wonder, they fill me with curiosity. I'm really hoping that this one does the same. And at this point, I'm thinking, maybe it's a citrus fragrance. The last thing that's in here is an incredibly cheesy, cheap pin. My God, this thing looks exactly like the stuff that was all over my backpack. And wow, this is really taking me back. I really feel old. Anyway, let's get back to the fragrance itself. The presentation is nothing to write home about. It feels insanely cheap. It feels really, really homemade. Again, this was a free product after all. It has a little bit of a vibe to it. It feels homemade in the best possible way. The cap is plastic. I think that we're gonna give this a good old spray first on paper to see what this is all about. I'm expecting something relatively citrusy, maybe candy-like. Again, kids in the 90s, a lot of stuff like that, a lot of color. Citrusy, very, very bright. Wow. Yeah, this is nice. It feels a little bit cheap, but again, not in a bad way. It feels like an artificial cheap candy that you find at a drugstore, at a supermarket, like at the cashier at the supermarket. Very effervescent. It almost smells like a lemon soda or like a lemonade, something which is insanely carbonated. It has the same similar feeling to the Unda Maris, which you really can feel the tactile sensation of the carbonation going up your nose. Very, very bright, very sour. I think that the main characteristic in here is definitely lemon. It smells straight up like lemon. It's kind of reminding me of Aquaviva. It's that lemon forward. It's not even a combination of citruses. Maybe there are some citruses that are kind of just supporting the lemon, but the lemon is front and center. I'll be honest, I'm not really getting much else. I think that we're gonna just go on skin because why the hell not? And just let it go. Let it rip. Yes, quite different on skin. Don't get me wrong, it's still a lemon fragrance first and foremost. Front and center, you have this massive lemon note, but overall there's a lot more to the scent which is bubbling up. And bubbling up indeed it is, because it really feels like something from below is filling up the body of the scent. And it has a distinct green note. It feels mentholated, it feels like a cheap mint bubblegum or chewing gum. Maybe it's meant to resemble a particular candy, like a specific mint lemon candy or something like that, like a sweet that was popular in the early 90s in Italy. I'm not getting any specific image, it's not picking at my memories, but I kind of get this general 90s vibe. It feels artificial. It feels intentionally artificial. It doesn't feel synthetic like in a synthetic fragrance. It feels specifically designed to smell a certain way. Actually, come to think about it, I think it smells like a candy wrapper or like a gum wrapper. You know when you eat a candy and you're like fiddling with a candy wrapper and sometimes you would smell the candy wrapper? This is kind of like a combination of the tactile mouthfeel of the candy and the actual smell of the plastic candy wrapper. It feels plasticky. There's something rubbery about the scent. Maybe it's like a rubber ball in the background or something like that. It's so specific, so particular. This is another one of those scents that I really want to study. I really want to take in and take my time taking in, because I know Filippo Sorcinelli, I know that nothing he does is casual or nothing is random. This thing smells engineered to evoke, to recall a very specific item or memory. It's teasing me. It's like on the tip of my tongue. It's like knocking on my door and running away. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I definitely need to spend some more time with it. Anyway, Pincett, I also want to investigate the name. It might be, again, a slang for something. I'm super curious. This hip bag alone is totally worth it. Again, the fragrance is free. It's free if you purchase something from the Filippo Sorcinelli website at no additional cost. And it's a limited edition. Well, if nothing else, this is a very cool, unique prop. I really like the initiative. I like the limited edition. It just feels super homemade. And again, it's free. And to put it in more practical terms, this smells kind of along the lines of something like Zerjoff Torino 21. The Zerjoff smells much more high quality. This one here feels intentionally artificial and not synthetic as in a byproduct of it being cheap. It feels designed to smell rubbery and plasticky. It's super cool. I really like it. Anyway, I think that's it for this video. Two very, very interesting fragrances. I'm happy about my purchase. I'm happy about purchasing directly from Filippo Sorcinelli. The guy is awesome. I really like his products. Unda Maris definitely stood out. It has a very, very particular scent profile. I like it a lot. I think that's it. Have you tried Filippo Sorcinelli? Have you tried the Discovery set? I highly recommend it. It's such a fun experience. You really can dive into the past of someone, the story of someone, their personality. It's very much Mel Fuscioni style. If you like Mel Fuscioni, if you want something a little bit more edgy, give Filippo Sorcinelli a try. You will not be disappointed. If you like this type of content, if you like my approach to video, feel free to subscribe. It's always massively appreciated and it helps the channel. If you want to interact with me, leave a comment, suggestion, opinion, or anything else down below. I always reply and I always keep the conversation open. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. It's never taken for granted. Many more videos to come, many more unboxings and many more reviews. So many more fun fragrances to showcase. I'm very excited. See you in the next one and cheers.